and welcome. Something a bit different tonight. Well, not that different, really. First thing that's different is I'm awake. Much better than last week. But let's start by welcoming my support crew. We have the wonderful Joe.
Good evening.
And the wonderful William.
Good evening, everybody.
We don't have the poorly Brian because he's got man flu.
Brian has man flu, yeah.
I told him I didn't want him coming in here starting computer viruses off, so he's got to stay home.
Infecting us all.
Right. So we've got a little project on tonight. I hope you all enjoyed the running shoes and nuts on the icon. Icon, whatever it's called. But I'll put these guys in the background and I'll show you what I'm doing. Change camera, there we go. Right, so that's a nut. It's M33 for 3.5, which is the nut that fits my spindle. Coming a little bit closer on that. Now, bit of anatomy on a spindle. You've got a shoulder here, which you don't really want the nut to hit. And you've got a register plate back here, which you do want to hit because that's what makes it all go straight. And then there's a groove here for putting a grub screw in. They're not all identical to this. This is an ASR system, so you can put a clamp on there to lock it.
Yeah, the
Don't all have that. Yeah. The grub screw channel, they all have it in some form or another. This one's got a shoulder in front of it, which is a good thing because if you forget you've done the grub screw up and you undo it, it hits that rather than screwing up the threads. But that does stop the nut from going. It locks there. And if you let it lock there, then it can get tight and get difficult to get off. So you don't want to go back quite that far. Now, these are standard size nuts. I did try to get half thickness nuts, which would have done the job nicely. But they're hard to get hold of. And I had to buy 10 of these to get the one I wanted.
Oh no.
Luckily, I put the word out to the local club and a lot of them are being sold. So it didn't cost me any extra. And in fact, I've done a favour for the club. So it's all good, really. And the running shoes. I've got spikes. These came from Amazon. They come with a spanner for putting them in. And they weren't expensive. So something about a nut and some spikes is what we're going to be doing.
So what are they called, Pete, if anyone wants to...
them everywhere.
Yeah, sorry, Pete, what are they called, just in case anyone wants to look them up on Amazon?
Running shoe spikes.
Running shoe spikes. And the nut was M33. Yeah, if you just look up either on Amazon, you'll find it.
Yeah, the nut is whatever your spindle is. In the UK, Europe, it'll be mostly M33s these days. But if you've got an older lathe, it might be an older size. I got mine from a company called Stainless Steel Fasteners in Bristol. But again, searching your local area is probably the best way of finding somebody who can find you some nuts. And if your lathes have got a different thread, obviously you need to get that size. Agricultural merchants are good for old imperial and English thread sizes.
Most engineering shops will sell them as well.
Yeah. So they can be found, but you might have the same problem as me, is that they say, well, we don't stock them, but we can get them. And then they give you a minimum order number. But that will make you popular in your local club because, I mean, I will keep 3 or 4 of these for my own future uses. They come in handy for things like this, which is a friction plate. So I can stick that inside of bowls, and that's my friction drive. And that's just a nut in there.
Can I just stop you, Pete?
Yep.
Paul Norfolk Hunter is asking, can you put a link in for the nut plate before you get going?
Yes, I can do that. I'll do that after the video's gone out. I'll edit it and put the links in there. Can't do it right now.
Perfect, yeah.
And there's a big friction plate. And again, it's got a nut in it. But this one I did double-sided. There's a sanding disc.
Oh, that's good.
Actually, there was something else I was going to say before we get to that. What I'm going to do is daft. And the reason I'm going to do something daft is because I'm covering for Terry and it's compulsory.
Oh dear.
The easy way to do this is to drill a hole in your piece of wood, stick your nut in there, and then make yourself a little collar that fits on there and glue it on. That's the easy way to do it. That's not the way we're doing it tonight.
Yeah. Don't forget to press record there, Pete, if you haven't already.
Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to record this as we go, and then I'll edit that down into a tool making video later on. Stick it on my tool making playlist. Okay, so I'm going to start. First thing to do is to flatten this, make sure it is flat. While I do that, Joe will let me know who's here.
I certainly will. And I've noticed it's all jumped up, so if I miss anybody out from the beginning, oh heck, I'll be in trouble. So, good evening, welcome everybody. At the top of the chat, we have Steve Perkis, Will the woodturner, Colin Izzard, Wurzel the wood butcher, Alex, Carsten Pedersen, Terry at Eckington Arts, would you believe, eh?
Oh, Terry.
And Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks, Doug Miller at Woodspun Round, Alan Gibb, Mark Bailey, Ian Lee, Norman Greenwell, Paul Oyton the Grisby Turner, Rob Copperhole Woodturning, Vinnie Charlton, Terry Bartlett, Ian Wallace, Paul Finley Woodturning at Home, Paul Norfolk Hunter, Christine and Michael Hesseltine, Grandma Rooftube, Lewis the Klondike Craftsman,
Hey, Lewis.
Albert Dawson, JP Woodwork, Andy Bundy Rowe, Harvey Klein. Oh, down to the bottom, you've got 52 people watching. If I've missed anybody out, I do apologise.
Welcome along, everyone.
Welcome along, everyone.
Well, that was actually pretty flat before I started, so that's why I was taking very small cuts and just, yeah, didn't really need to do it, to be honest. But so I've got a 35mm drill, which I've already made sure it fits over the back section, and the depth I need to go to is just slightly more than the head of the forstner bit.
Okay, we've got Malcolm
Again,
Douglas.
on your lathes, if you're doing this, then measure everything and do it appropriately.
Good evening, Malcolm.
I never saw Malcolm Douglas's name. Sometimes I miss.
What's the wood, Pete? Forgot to ask you.
It's actually a beech
Beech.
blank. Actually, that is relevant. I was going to say the wood doesn't really matter for this, but it does. I was turning some black locust yesterday, so I had to clean up my lathe bed today because it was covered in yellow staining, same as you get with olive and oak and other high tannin timbers. So don't use a high tannin for this because it's going to be metal against metal, and you might end up with a problem if you do that. So although it doesn't really matter what wood you use, try and use an inert wood, something that isn't going to do any corrosion or damage.
Yeah.
The beech is actually perfect for the job. I'm not going to turn it around just yet. Yeah, beach is perfect for the job, but keep it inert. What I am going to do is just shape it a little bit. I'm not going to worry about the ASR lock on here. I did think about cutting it so I could use an ASR lock, but 2 reasons I'm not going to bother. One, I haven't got one. And 2, I'd never use this in reverse anyway, so there's no point.
But then no need.
But
David Nichol is in.
Evening, David.
Yeah.
From
I
All the
will
way
just
from
shape
Kentucky.
it down
Kentucky.
so it's a bit smaller at the back than it is at the front. Just because, well, why not?
Roger Kent has come in.
I
Evening,
cleaned the
Roger.
floor today, especially thinking, oh, I better clean up before Brian comes in. I even picked up some of the dust, dusted it off and put it back again. But
Paul Finley has put his link in for tomorrow night.
well done, Paul.
Nice one, Paul.
Don't think Doug's on this week again.
He's
Wayne,
in the
have
chat
you got a
there,
link?
so.
JP Woodwork is saying, at Grandma Roof Tube, hey, Terry's company's that great that you're in here, lol.
Yeah, she's
it's not
dedicated to the
for,
cause.
it's not time for cocktails yet. Look at those shavings.
Beach is lovely to cut.
Is it?
Oh, it is.
Lucy Sweet Potato Bundy Rose joined us.
Good evening, Lucy.
And
And
Brian.
Brian is in from Greenhaven Creations.
Oh, you got in there first.
Welcome along, guys.
Yes, good evening.
Oh, the temptation is just turn us away to nothing.
Yeah.
No, but I better make it tall.
Yeah, Doug has just put in the chat, no live for him this week. He'll be back next week.
Okay.
I hope Rob's not in tonight because I'm not going to do any sanding.
Haven't seen him yet.
No, not yet.
We'll just tell him I did, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mike, Dances with Arts joined us.
Evening, Mike.
Good evening.
now I'm actually doing this wrong because I'm using this face of the chuck as my register here. It's not the right way to do things, but it does work.
If
It'll
it
be
works.
fine. It'll be fine. I thought I was really well organised, but there's one thing I've forgotten. But you won't notice. It'll be fine. If I don't say anything, I'll get away with it.
Okay. But you told us.
Oh, drat. Oh, well.
Busted.
Okay, so this is a 55mm drill bit. If I use a 50 and a chisel, I could cut myself a perfect hexagon and just drop the nut in and hammer it in there. And we'll all be good. But that's hard work, and I don't do that. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
make the
don't
hole,
do hard work.
it's going to make the hole big enough for the nut to drop in, and I'm going to epoxy it in place. That'll be fine.
Okay, now Mark Harvey's joined us and he's got a question for you, Pete.
What's
What
that?
did you use to clean your bed up? He missed that bit.
I use, and I've used for a long time, lubricating wax from Libron. It's really good. I put it on with one of them Web pads that lifts any dirt off, and this dries, so dust doesn't stick to it. So it's a lubricant that is dust protected. And I've used it for a long time. There are other machine waxes and other PTFE sprays and whatever. But I like that one. It works for me.
Okay.
Even any machine wax will do. Lucy is asking, question, what is Pete making? Pete is making, Lucy, a wheedle deedle for driving wood.
Thanks, William. That got me out of the sticky spot. I'm not the sharpest tool in the box.
Perfect, so Joe.
Not quite there, nearly there.
Just going to say a little bit more. And Grandma Ruchu was going for a dip in the jacuzzi. Says, see y'all later. Have fun.
Enjoy.
And that is there. But basically,
Okay.
I've just drilled that through until it's met up with the other hole I did from the other side.
Steve Parkers, maybe it's an Irish thing.
Right, so we're pretty much done now. Oh, drought, I've got to do that.
Call back next week.
Oh yeah, come back next week. Terry's back next week, so that'll be fine. So, what I've got now. What I've got now is this. And my nut should drop nice and neat in there. And then that should be the nice spacer to the back. And that should all work.
In theory.
Andrew, with your
In
woodchucks
theory.
joined us.
Good evening, Andy.
Hi, Andy. So that'll go on there with the nut embedded in it. And screw onto the lathe, and I've got myself a nice driver plate. Now, you could do anything you wanted with that, depending on the diameter. You could put a sanding disc on it. You could do anything you want. But there's a bit more I want to do to this just before we finish. So my nut drops into there. With a little bit of help.
Smack bang wallop.
Because it was driven by the chuck and everything was done square, once I've got that nut down to the bottom register, it will be square. But it's going to need a little bit of help. So I'm going to use 2 mallets. And just do a quick visual inspection, make sure everything's down and square and flush, and we're all good. and I want to put a spike in the middle. So my blue Peter moment, I made that before. And that fits in there, and that can be glued on top of the nut. Now I shall have a perfectly flat face when I've finished, in theory. And what I forgot to do was get the glue out of the drawer, but it's just here, so that'd be no problem. If I'd done it before, I'd have found the mixing stick and everything else that goes with it, but you can't expect organisation. I'm only here temporarily.
Lollipop stick. What are you going to use, Peter? A little 2-part epoxy or something?
Just a 2-part epoxy. I pick up these syringes for a couple of quid from local Lidl, which is a sort of discount supermarket type place. Now I know already that nut doesn't go up against the. Because I had to hammer it in, I will put it on there and test it because it's not going to get stuck. I know that nut doesn't go up against the thread. And I know that I've got plenty of room there, so I'm not in the least bit concerned about things going in the wrong place. I know it's all lined up perfectly because I can see it is. So I'm going to mix up some glue. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring the board up because I don't want it on my lathe bed. Seriously, if you're not doing it on a YouTube live, folks, do the glue somewhere else. Don't do it on top of your lathe. That's just daft.
Especially when you've just cleaned it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you just cleaned it. So, I mean, this stuff is, I'm sure you're all familiar with it. It's a 5-minute setting one. And at 5 minutes, it can hold a couple of ton. You get the slower setting one, it can hold something like 8 or 9 ton. I wouldn't trust it myself, but you know, not when you pay £2 from it in a discount shop. But it's certainly going to be strong enough for this purpose. If this is going to be visible, I quite often add colour to it, which will weaken it. But that isn't going to hurt because you're never going to use that strength anyway. It's not there for strength, it's just there as a gripper. So all I'm doing is just packing it down in there. That nut's already a tight fit in that hole. Once this glue has gone off, then that nut is going nowhere.
Ain't budging.
So you know, if I need to get heavy and if it gets stuck on the spindle and I need to get heavy to get it off, it's going to be fine. Not that happens really. I've never had that. I just read other people have had that problem. But this is a very good way if you want to make a sanding disc or a friction plate. The nuts cost me £2.50 each, which is damn sight cheaper than a faceplate.
It is for sure.
And it's permanent, which you know, I've have myself in the past turned stuff with a chuck mount tenon on it and use that to hold faceplates and whatever. But being wood, they do wear it. This doesn't. If you read the instructions on this glue, it says never use a new mix on top of an old mix because it will mess up the setting time, but hey, who cares?
Yeah. And Mike with Dances Wilder, he says, I found that epoxy only sets to its maximum strength is when it's on something you need to get apart. Yeah, that's
yes.
Never a truer word.
That'd be right.
So basically,
good.
I've just filled the gaps in the hexagon, and I'm just
That
going
ain't ever coming out.
to epoxy this cap on.
JP was saying, where did you get the nuts from? Sorry if you mentioned it already.
Stainless steel fastenings in Bristol. I will put a link in the description after I've finished the video. I'll do that tonight before I go to bed and get that done. So if you come back in the morning or whatever, it'll be there. And the spikes as well. I'll put the link to those.
Perfect.
But I'm sure you can find these locally.
And even with woodshed, says your local squirrels.
And they're bloody heavy. So you don't really want them getting posted to you. So if you can find them locally, I'm sure you'll do a better job.
If there's a local engineering shop to you somewhere.
Yeah, local fasteners, or just look up stainless steel fasteners, and they probably won't have them in stock, but they will get them for you. Right, now, that is not going anywhere. In theory, I could put that on the lathe and carry on now. But I am going to stick it over here and give it its 5 minutes. Because what I don't really want is for this to get stuck to the lathe. Because that would be embarrassing.
Just a bit.
So Joe's going to do a tap dance for us while we wait.
Jewish head is in, even do we?
Hey, Joey. Now I was I put up a short yesterday, basically endorsing Martin's new what's he called it? Hard wax oil. Because I've been playing with it for a few weeks. Yeah, I've been playing with it for a few weeks because I picked it up from him when he did a demo at our club. And I never like to say anything about something until I've used it a bit and I've left a bit out in the rain and had a good chance to see whether I like it or not. And I like it. So I thought I'll just show the finish. So I just did a bit of Black Lotus. And that's the finish. You get a nice satin sheen to it.
It is a nice satin finish, yeah.
It's got a lovely feel because of the wax. Just feels nice. So I do like the product. So I thought I'd do a little short and just put that up there, just why not? I didn't get any discount or any encouragement to support it. I just put it up there because I like it. And whilst I was there, I found an old short that I did ages ago, which I thought was rather fun. So that's what I'm going to use to fill in this 5 minute gap. Just going to check that is somewhere near a square because that helps. No, it's not. So the video I found was me cutting a finial. But
What's the wood, Pete?
this is a bit of the Black Lotus actually.
Yeah.
So I've cut from I had a log here that needed working on. So with Black Locust is the bark on it is about 4 inches thick. You literally have to take the bark off with a bandsaw. So you have this great big log sat here. And I thought, that make 2 decent sized bowls. Wait, saw the bowl that came out of it, the rest of it was bark.
A lot
I'm
of
going to
bark.
cut a finial with this little tool. It's 1.25 inches, spindle roughing gauge. Because it's
Why not?
daft, and I like doing daft things.
Okay.
And it'll give me time for that glue to dry. Wind the lathe up, get some decent speed going. Now, this wood is not ideal for finials. It's hard and soft. If that makes any sense.
No,
It does.
not to me. You don't.
It's a bit like ash that you've got some really hard bits in it, and then you get a soft bit in between them.
Okay.
Bring the camera a bit closer. That's too close. That's no good. Stuck with that one.
Yeah, leave on that one, Pete. And Haley Wooden-Burl has joined us. Good evening, Haley.
Hi, Ellie. Lewis is saying those are the kinds of wood that don't cut great, then poof, they're gone with the extra pressure.
They are for sure.
Drop the tool rest a bit. I can't get to the point there.
They're an open-grained wood. It's a beautiful wood to turn, though, on a larger project. So has everybody had a go at their hashtag project yet?
No, I haven't.
I didn't get a chance either, but hopefully tomorrow I'll make a start.
Brian at
I say that
Woodturning
hoping
is
that
in.
everybody's forgotten I did it last Sunday.
Good evening, Brian.
Good evening. Evening, Brian. Hope you're feeling a bit better, mate.
Careful with them germs in that chat.
And we've got Ben Ravenscroft in as well.
Oh, there, Ben.
Now then. And Todd at Glencove Woodworks, he says, what's the hashtag project? It's animals, but not necessarily wood. You can choose any medium you like. They're opening it up. So if you want to paint it or pyrograph it,
Or knit one, or crochet
turn
one,
it,
or
yeah,
turn it, 3D print it.
It has to be
Whatever
done
floats
by
your
the
boat.
16th. Is it the 16th of June that has to be done by?
I forget now, Joe.
Yeah, it's a Monday. There's a slight change to the procedure
Okay.
because Steve is short on time. So we're going to get them in on the Monday, so we've got all week to edit it.
Ah, right.
Okay.
Brian says
That
he'll be
wasn't quite where I
grand
wanted it.
tomorrow, hopefully.
Good. Brian says he's already sent his in.
Good man, Brian.
God, that was fast.
I may get mine done tomorrow, so.
I did see Brian's. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Hartwood said he has it in pictures to Steve at skcrafts@btinternet.com before the 16th. Just to give Steve a bit of time to get him edited. And Dewey Shed says, what has happened to Wayne's live? I don't know, Dewey. Wayne was in earlier there. I'm not sure if he said he was on Wednesday or not.
I don't think he is this week.
Now, Ben Ravenscroft says, could whittled animals count? Yes.
Yes,
Of course
100%.
but
That's
it's
my
something
boy.
that you're
Hello,
doing in
Ben.
this fortnight rather than years ago. Never thought about the whittling.
Yeah. So turn it, carve it, cut it, sand, whatever.
I'm intrigued.
Ben was over here earlier using the bandsaw.
Ah,
We did count his fingers before he left. He was the same number he arrived with, so we're all good.
David
That's
Nichols
always a
says,
bonus.
David Nichols says, I would have tried a skew on that piece and would have kicked it off the lathe and embedded it in my chest by now.
Oh no, that don't sound good.
Now, obviously,
It
you would
does.
normally use a skew on this because, that would be sensible. But I'm waiting for glue to dry, so I'm not being sensible.
Okay, and Donna Love
Very good.
Angel Artist has joined us.
Hi, Donna.
Hey Donna, how are you?
Good evening.
So there you go, one finial. It's not quite round because it's a flat spot there, but it's small enough to go round there. Make the bottom a bit smaller, it would work, wouldn't it? But it's going in the fire, so who cares? You can't see that, can you?
Nicely done for an 1.25 inch spindle rough and gouge.
Yeah. Does that
Ben
help?
says currently running laser and 11 fingers still.
Looking good,
That's all
Pete.
right.
Laughing.
So
Good.
yeah, it's quite nice actually. I might keep that and get a skew on it and finish it.
There you go.
Woohoo.
Add it to my collection.
Yeah.
But the glue should be dry now, so we can go and get the other piece back.
Hopefully.
What am I doing for time anyway?
It's 8:10.
Oh, excellent. Only another 20 minutes and we're done. Contract fulfilled.
And Ben is asking, what wood is that? Color pattern looks nice. I
That's
presume
black locust.
That's right.
Right, so I can put a finger in there now and it's not getting stuck to anything. So, yeah, I think we're good. So I'll stick that on there. put that away because this is not the right tool for this job.
No, not for cross grain.
And I'm going to take that pointy bit out of my tailstock because otherwise it will go in my elbow. So I'm going to need to face this down. I want the middle spike to be a little bit higher than the edge spikes. So I'm just going to take this down and then sort of bulge it about 1/8 of an inch in the middle. This
Sorry,
face is
Pete.
not overly important.
Doug is asking there, can you move the picture slightly over because you're over to one side and it's covering the chat on his screen?
Oh yeah,
Just
we can do that. Just pick the monitor up and move it. I'll send the boys round to sort it for you.
And Dewey has a question. He wants to know, how's the new dust extractor going?
Brilliant.
It's a fine piece of kit.
I'm very, very happy with it. I've been considering it for years. And the last time I decided to get one, to bite the bullet and pay the money and get one, is when Axminster stopped dealing with them. So that left me with the option of importing it from America or importing it from Germany. And I didn't really want to do that with either because it's a lot of money. And if it goes wrong, you do want somebody you can say, oi. But so I've been considering it for years, just haven't done it. Now this bit isn't overly necessary. Flattish is good enough. The back it's important because it's against the register. And I will just true this end up just so that I don't get that slight wobble when I'm using it in real life. Because you know,
just to balance the piece.
and cutting that back corner off. The justification is because I'm clumsy and it'll stop me getting my fingers caught on it. The real reason was I quite enjoyed making those shavings. I'm so tempted to just turn this to nothing. But we will do the job properly.
Yeah, we'll find something else for that.
Yeah, but this one's cutting so nice. You know, you get that piece of wood on there which just cuts beautifully, and you just think, cool. I could put all that on the floor. Be excellent.
You're a worry, Pete.
I try to be.
And Barney Rubble is in the chat.
Barney Rubble. The new
That's
name
a
to
new
me.
name. And me. Welcome along, Barney.
Right, this is completely unnecessary, but if Rob watches it back later, we can pretend. Right, I'm starting with 40 grit. I'm going to work my way up to 800 grit, all right? Just tell Rob that's what happened.
You'll believe it too.
Now, it says SK Crafts do a 3D printed nut. Would that be suitable for this project? This is Barney asking.
A 3D printed what?
Nut.
The
No.
M33 3D printed nut.
No, that's not a good idea, because it's plastic and you're going to run this fast.
So would that melt
I'm
it?
sure that, who knows?
I'll just break
But
it.
it's not a good idea.
Kaput.
It's not what it's designed for. These nuts, I mean, they're seriously stainless steel nuts, so they're not going to go rusty on me. I bought 10 of them. Work out
Only a couple of quid each.
£2.50 a piece. If I can get them, ideally, they do a half thickness nut. That would be even better. If I find them anywhere, I will buy another 10 of them, because I can always sell the surplus off to other wood turners. I know other people want them. So getting rid of the surplus is not a problem. So I don't mind buying in minimum orders of 10, because you can always sell them. But £2.50, stainless steel, not going to rust. It's not going to cause you any problems. And if you put a little bit of that lubricating wax on that I used on the bed and I showed earlier, then it
Jobs
dries
are
on
good.
and off like a good thing. It was good.
Now, Wayne's back. We were talking about him putting in a link to his live if he's doing one on Wednesday.
That's if you're on Wednesday, Wayne.
I don't think Wayne's on this week. I vaguely remember seeing something about it. But yeah, if you are on, Wayne, check your link in. Right, now then. These are 5mm threads on these studs. So 5mm metric threads. And there's ways of doing it. You can just get some 5mm nuts, drill some holes, glue the nuts in, job's a good one. What I've gone for is these screw-in studs, which I like these. I like playing with them. Oh, Jane's birthday, that's right, I remember seeing that. Yep, so no Wayne, because it's happy birthday to Jane. So I'm going to use them. Is that the right drill bit?
Sounds like a plan.
I think that's the right drill bit. I'm sure it's the right drill bit. I can't possibly have made a mistake. Where's that wobbling?
I was going to say something's a little wobbly there.
Where's my Roomian tool? Got something stuck in the Morse taper. SK Crow. Morse taper
That's a
cleaner.
handy little doofer.
Knock the speed back down. Right, now that drill bit was on the table where I put everything to be ready. But I keep looking at it and thinking, I'm not happy with that. It's not the right one. So that drill bit was in the wrong place. That drill bit's the one I wanted.
It was too big.
It was just as well I didn't do that, or I had to fix it.
Why is that still waddling, Pete?
Don't know. not good. There's something wrong with that drill shaft. It's not more taper. It's probably that end. It always causes me a few issues. Yeah, that's it. Wind it out a bit further and it's fine. Right, so this one I want to be bang on center. It's the only one that matters.
Albert Dawson has joined us. Good evening, Albert.
I was on at the beginning. I don't know if you've wandered off somewhere and come back.
Oh, was he? Maybe so.
Yeah. I think he was at the top where the chat disappeared as everyone comes in. You lose people.
So these things, they've got a coarse thread on the outside, which screws into the wood. The lock in place, and there's a thread on the inside which you can screw things into. Sometimes they're really, really good. Sometimes they're rubbish. But I quite like them, and I decided to use them here.
That one got a nice bite anyway.
Yeah, I mean, once they're in, they're in. They really are good. Now, obviously, I want some more than one because otherwise, it ain't going to drive anything. And I've hummed and hard about the perfect number. Decided there wasn't one, but I'm going to go for 4 on the outside. And obviously, I can't drill that with the centre bit because it would be in the wrong place. What I can do is put a line on there so they'll all be roughly the same place. I could even, if I line that up with the centre.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
If I turn that to that, it's bang up right. I've got myself some marks. It'd been better if I'd been on the right camera, but you know, I'm sure you get the idea.
I would get the gist.
If my support crew had been on the board, they'd have told me that.
Yeah,
So.
it's time to get staff, Pete.
Brian wouldn't have let that slide.
No. Sooner the better he's back.
Too right.
But I mean, these
She's
things
saying
are
good.
not overly important, exactly where they're placed.
Lucy says she's off. Good night, everybody, and take care. Good night, Lucy.
Good
Take care,
night.
Lucy. Thanks for popping in.
Now, it's obviously vital that you mark the drill bit so you get the right depth hole. Or make it up and wing it. Either way works perfectly fine.
Good old-fashioned guesswork.
Yep.
Brian's OCD's in check. He says, why is that camera making me tilt my head to the right?
Your head's on wrong.
Yeah.
Camera's perfect, Brian. It's the flu. These bikes are made for running shoes, and they sell them in packs of, it's 80 in the pack with a spanner. So presumably people that run wear these spikes out. I'm pretty damn sure that this will never wear out in this use. So buying 80, I only really need 5.
Susie, the Swiss woodturner's joined us. Good evening,
Ah,
Susie.
Susie.
Hey, Susie.
All right, those are literally locked in place. They ain't going nowhere. But
So there's no need to
if you
glue them.
wanted, you could always put a bit of epoxy on the threads. You put them in.
They definitely ain't
Again,
coming out then.
I'll bung the link to Amazon for those in the description after I've finished it tonight. But that was a pack of 40. I will keep those because I find them useful for all sorts of things. So I've got 4mm ones somewhere and 6mm as well, I believe. So now I've got 5s.
You're going to have to look at Brian's last chat.
I can't, Brian. If Glenn's watching and I start moving camera and he's got vertigo going on, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, poor old Dylan's
So-
on the floor.
So I can't be doing that. That'd be bad. You're just trying to get me into trouble again, aren't you?
Now, Paul is asking why the centre bit is domed.
So that it makes contact with the wood first. It'll make sense in a few minutes. So that
And
was
Wayne
my
has said,
A
Pete,
plan.
twist the trees. I'll take one of them 33 nuts.
Yeah, we can sort that out, Wayne.
Sorry, Pete, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I was saying, ordinary 5mm nut fits on those perfectly. So you could just glue those in. Then you use a nifty spanner. And screw the studs into place.
Brian said it's okay. I just tipped the iPad to the left a tiny bit.
Now
Nope,
he says, nope, that won't work.
Chat won't. The chat squints.
A bit of bad luck you're having, Brian. I'm going up to see Brian next weekend. We're going to travel over to see Colwyn Way turning.
Oh yeah,
nice.
he's over, isn't he?
Yeah, he's coming over, yeah. Hopefully Brian is better again then.
Hopefully.
He's got a few days, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He gets plenty of TLC from Michelle. Fighting
Excuse
for
me.
him round to go. Well,
No.
you know, I'm ever the optimist.
Ulster Woodturners Club, that's what it is.
I'm sure that Michelle will be very, very kind to him and look after him and
Nah,
wipe his
not to
brow.
Now you are taking the mickey.
me. She just tell him, get over, get on with it. Ulster
And
Woodturner
now
Club.
I've
Yeah,
got 5 studs.
we had someone from the Ulster Woodturners Club down demonstrating yesterday at Emmett Kane's.
Oh yeah.
Billy something was his name. I can't remember what his second name was. Paul Finley will know him. He's in Paul's club.
So that's it. So I better show you what it's for now, don't I? So you get your bowl blank. Now I've just got a bowl blank here, which I had. But ideally, you've got a bowl blank with some bark on it and stuff. The one that's in the middle is raised slightly, so you put that on there first. You bring out your tail center. You clamp it in place. Those spikes get driven into the bark in particular, but into the wood or the bark, whichever. I've never tried this before. This is the first time for me. I will knock the speed down. And you've got yourself a bowl drive.
Nice one.
Perfect.
It's as I said, it's ideal for odd shapes, things that got thick bark on them, because those spikes will go right through the bark. And it's quick and easy because you line up that middle one and the rest will follow. So
And as
let's
you
see if
say,
it
you're not
works.
tying up one of your face plates.
You're not
Perfect.
tying up a faceplate. The alternative, actually, I did think about doing this, but then it would have been a rubbish life. If you just get a faceplate, drill some 5mm holes in it, tap some threads into them. Sorry, some 4mm holes. Tap some 5mm threads into them, and just screw the studs in and out as you need them. But I've got an hour to fill. I'm under contract.
Yeah.
But
Brian says, need something with longer spikes and adjustable for faux doing burrs. Yeah, that's a good idea, Brian. Adjustable spikes.
right, so this was the 1/2 inch spikes. You can get 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. And I thought I'd go for 1/2 inch because actually that's quite a long reach. And of course, you just drill and put another thing in there. So if you can't get to the 4 points that are on there now,
Well, you could put as many in as you like, really, couldn't you?
but you get the idea. It's a drive system, which we all work with rough bits of wood, especially stuff with bark on it or burrs or whatever.
As you can see, it gets a nice grip.
Do virtually no damage to the face of the piece that you're turning. Yeah, virtually no damage to the face of the piece you're turning. So if you've got a nice burr, then that's going to go when you screw it up. And you've got a drive system. Or £2.50 plus a few quid for studs. William, I will send you some in the post. Well, I'll send them to Brian and you can pick them up from there.
Ah, super duper.
Loads
Nice
of them
one,
here.
Pete.
They won't come with the spanner because I'm keeping that, but a pair of pliers will hold them in there, do them up.
Will of course.
And Joe, do you want some? I'll send some to you as well. Your wages.
Payment, Joe. Take it.
Thanks. You almost stunned me into silence then.
No, you'll get wages on the next one, Joe, because the next one I'm going to be turning what you want.
No.
You can have that when I've done it.
So kind.
Yeah, interesting little project.
Very useful.
One thing I would normally do, which I haven't done here, drill yourself a 6mm hole here, and you can put a Tommy bar in there to undo it if it gets over tight. But I mean, it's a 6-inch diameter that I've chosen for this, so that gives you a fairly decent grip. So you know, it's not likely to get stuck on the lathe, but if you put a hole in the edge, then you can always put a bar in there if you need to. Which I've
Extra
done
little
on.
bit of leverage.
Yeah, done that on that one because that's a small one. It does sometimes get a bit tight. And Wayne knows about things that get themselves locked onto spindles. Yeah, drive. You can make it any size you want. You could put those in a bit closer if you were driving smaller pieces. So that raising that middle point, just that little bit, means that you can align on a known middle. And it doesn't cost a lot. So, you know, I can keep that. It's cost me virtually nothing. I'm going to edit this down into a tool making video. Well, I'll try and edit this down into a tool making video. And that'll come back out on my tool making playlist in due course. Probably a few weeks before I get round to that. But bring the guys back in. Next week, the Wanderer returns.
He's just come back in to chat. Come on, Terry.
Next week, the Wanderer returns, and you have the joys of Terry.
That's if he doesn't talk someone into doing it for him.
He will try, but I'm not doing it, Terry. You're doing it.
You will.
What's Todd said? Use threaded rod with the end file to a V point screwed into threaded holes. Yep, that works. So you can make spikes of any length you want. If you want to get a point onto the end of a threaded rod, the easiest way, stick the threaded rod into your drill. Put the drill at the right angle against your belt sander. Turn the drill and the belt sander on, and you get a sharp point. Works a treat. I've actually got one that I did like that somewhere. Don't know where. I'm not going to find it.
Terry's at it. Terry's at it already. Look, Brian could do it. He's missed one this week.
But Brian's poorly. He can't do it, Terry. You have to do it. Anyway, you know what's happening now? Just turn the lathe off.
Cheers time. Good man, Pete.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in. It's an idea of a tool that is, as I said, cheap and simple to make. And certainly I can see a lot of uses for that. Especially if you've got bits of wood with bark that you want to keep a live edge on. You can just slap them on there and just turn it straight into the bark. Turn in this profile. I did that for fun. If you just had a flat piece with a nut in it, and you had a piece of ply the right size with a hole in it, glue it on there, it'll do the same job. Where's the fun in that? This was a bowl blank that was, it was one of my Christmas presents actually. It came from my brother and sister-in-law. It was a box of bowl blanks. That was a perfect size. It's an inert wood. Now that is important. As I said at the beginning, if you use oak or olive or anything that will react with metal, this is going to screw to your lathe. And that back plate is up against your most important part of the lathe, is that register. So don't use inert woods. Don't use inert woods, use inert woods.
Inert woods, yeah.
Something that will not rust with metal or react with metal. And a bit of beech is perfect for it. Sycamore would be grand. Anything you've got knocking about. And any questions? Chuck them in the chat now. Terry, you're doing next week. Don't know what you're doing, but you're doing next week.
So get your little hiney back here.
And Paul's on Monday. No Doug this week, I'm pretty sure. No Wayne this week because it's Jane's birthday.
So.
Happy birthday, Jane.
Happy birthday, Jane. Yeah.
Yes, happy birthday.
And Brian might not be on this week because he's poorly, so we'll wait and see on that one.
We shall see.
I'm not moving the camera. I'm not moving the camera until you are on the support crew and you tell me before I go live. So you just have to live with the fact it's going to be like that, even though you can't see it because it's not on, and even though the complete system will be shut down. You know that camera is going to be wonky for at least a week, at least.
You won't sleep tonight.
Oh dear. I did actually look at it when Brian complained at the beginning, and yeah, there's a loose screw on it which needs to be tightened up. But as I said, I'm not going to do that until you're looking at it and telling me off.
It's burned into his brain.
Yeah. Anyway, apologies for last week. I really was not with it last week.
No, that's fun.
But that's my 3-week stint done. And I'll be back in July, I believe. I'm away part of July, so I'll be back in July when Terry's next away. I'm turning a project that Jill wants. So I already know what I'm turning. I've actually already started to get the wood together for it because I was going to be doing it this week, but things changed.
Watch this.
So I've got that project online.
Hashtag level for Pete.
And yeah, I mean, this will be edited into a video. It'll be on my tools playlist in due course.
And Steve,
so if you need
Pete,
to watch it again and make
well.
your own, get on and make it. And
don't forget your hashtag project, guys. Get them in before the 16th to Steve.
Don't forget your hashtag project. Get yourself some nuts that fit your spindle, and you can do all sorts with them. They're really useful things to have. And at £2.50 as opposed to £250 for a chuck. Right, I'm going to hit the button.
Even for making the large sanding arbors as well, you know, they're ideal.
Yeah, sanding discs and things like that. You do need to turn, as I said, there's a cheats way of doing this, is what you need to do, but you do need to turn something to put them in there. If you're going to be using it as a faceplate, you know, a sanding plate or whatever, turn it, fit it on the lathe after the glue's dried, turn the front flat, and then it will be perfect from there on in. But they are very useful.
They are indeed.
All right, take care, folks.
Bye.
Hit the
Take
button.
care, guys. Thanks for popping in.
Cheers
Good to
for
see
now.
you all.